Wende Yahoo, Wende Yahoo. Wende Ya, Wende Ya, ho 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 ho, hail, hail, ya ya ya, ya ya ya. Wende Yahoo, Wende Yahoo, Wende Ya, Wende Ya, oh 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 oh, hail, hail, ya ya ya. One more time. Wende Yahoo, Wende Yahoo, Wende Ya, Wende Ya, oh 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 oh, hail, hail, ya ya ya.
Good morning, all. My name is Joseph Hepburn, and usually known as Chaplain Joseph. We are all members of the church in Ocean Park, and I'm here to welcome you to this unique, multi-faith, multicultural community that is dedicated to social justice. So, you may be asking yourself, what am I doing here? Should I go there? Should I be here? Well, if you reason with yourself, you are welcome. If you talk to yourself, you are welcome. If you enjoy festivities and folk stories and scary stories about the full moon, today's full moon, welcome to the church in Ocean Park. If you are physically and spiritually hungry and want to be spiritually and physically fed, you are welcome here at the church in Ocean Park. You are welcome if you just came in from a family reunion, from a protest march, and aren't able to attend the protest marches now, or if you are confused about what to do and which march to attend, which process to attend, we are in a confused state. You are welcome to church in Ocean Park for peace, for quiet, and contentment. You are welcome if you don't have a job, recently never had your job, or if you had your job taken away from you, you're welcome here. We extend a special invitation to those who are single, married, divorced, gay, transgender, filthy rich, or filthy poor. Well, if you are recognizing that you have a need or that you have some concern about your health and you need a prayer, well, you are welcome here because we have welcome doors, open hearts, and open minds. We don't care if you're more religious than the Pope, or more ceremonial than the King, or more humorous than the Dalai Lama. You're welcome. We invite soccer moms, tree huggers, latte sippers, vegetarians. You could tell I'm not one. Junk food eaters. We invite those who are in recovery or still addicted. We invite you if you have problems, if you're down in the dumps, or if you don't like organized religion. We invite those who are inked or pierced or both. If you haven't read a book in years or would like to read several books to increase your understanding of yourself and your community and your history, we have welcome books here to read. You are welcome to the church in Ocean Park. If you have nowhere else to go, come on down. to the church in Ocean Park.
Hi, my name is Janet Gallery McKithen, and I'm the minister here at the church in Ocean Park. And I also want to welcome you. We are a multi-religious community, so you're welcome if you're Wiccan, if you're Buddhist, if you're Hindu, if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're some combination, if you're Ifa, whatever it is that you are, or some combination, or something I didn't say, you're welcome here at the church in Ocean Park. We want to begin by acknowledging that we're currently sitting on stolen land. The land underneath us that we're sitting on is we took violently from the Chumash, the Quiche, and the Tongva peoples. We acknowledge the harms of genocide, forced assimilation, enslavement, and destruction at the hands of U.S. colonial settlerism. We also acknowledge that our communities and our country was built on the backs of people who were stolen from Africa, placed into bondage, and forced into labor. And we acknowledge that we benefit from that labor that has never been repaid. In our acknowledgement, let us commit ourselves to healing by changing how we do things that we see as normal, but is actually systemically hurting other people. We also acknowledge that we've allowed an authoritarian government to take root in our country, and people are being kidnapped off of our streets and disappeared and murdered, and fear is rampant. We also acknowledge that we are responsible for destroying cultures and lives in other countries as well. Their tax dollars are funding the genocide in Gaza and in other places. In our acknowledgement, let us commit ourselves to healing by helping create a more just and equitable world, no matter how difficult, no matter the cost, because people's lives are at stake. Every one of us has biases, even if we've taken so much anti-bias training and we've met every kind of person there is in the world. We've talked to them, we've listened really deeply. We all still have biases, and it takes intentionality to build compassion for people whose lives are different from ours. We seek at the church in Ocean Park to work across boundaries, to tear down boundaries, and to build more just systems. This morning you'll hear from a variety of people. If you hear from something that you disagree with, know that your voice is just as important. It doesn't matter if this is the first time you've been here or if you've been here many times before. You are now, we claim you, you're a part of the church in Ocean Park, so your voice is just as important of whoever spoke. So I just don't want you to think that whatever I just said, if you disagree with it, that means that you ought to leave. I think that probably just means that you ought to speak instead of me. So thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for being here this morning. And thank you for trying to build more compassion in this world that so desperately needs it. We need to center ourselves this week. It's another one of those weeks. How many times are we going to say this? What did we bring here this morning that maybe is weighing heavy on our chest, and that we just want to name that we have come here with this morning? It could be personal and it could be not personal. For example, I'll do an example. So my sister-in-law died, and I'll be doing the service, and it's a complicated situation. So that's on my heart right now, as well as everything that's happening in the country. Are there things that you'd like to share that you're heavy on your chest this morning, that you're bringing in? Because we are here this morning as a community, and so we don't want you to have to leave something at the door and pretend like you're something else.
Angry at what's going on in the world and angry with Donald Trump, what he's doing, all these ICE raids that's going on.
I'm wanting to know that whatever contributions I make in my life, that they matter.
Anybody else?
Seems like, well, we all know what's going on in the world, in the country. And I would like to lift up the people who feel like nobody gives a care about them. Also, it seems coincidental, synchronistic. A lot of folks with eye problems lately in eye surgeries in our congregation and outside here. And just want to lift all of us up, and may we head towards higher, better, happier consciousness.
Anybody else?
A sense of angst, anticipation, because I'm seeing and recognizing that what has started here is moving worldwide. The shunning and the ignoring of human rights, not just here, but sovereignty around the world, is being swallowed up by, I guess you could say, a group of folks who only want power, aren't concerned with the human suffering that others have faced. They want what they want on their terms. So, I'm struggling to find out how to deal with that.
Yeah, I feel some sadness because as a chaplain for many years and a minister for many years before that, I've been continue to be faced with a lot of suffering. More people are in the hospitals of the world than in the churches. It is a very sad thing.
I wish that the money that has already been allocated to ICE and maybe in the future would be instead spent on money for children to eat, SNAP programs, and things that benefit people in the margins.
Last night I was at a certain kind of social gathering, and I got into a bit of an argument. It was of limited duration, but it was with someone, with a Zionist person, and I was just alarmed. I hear about what people's beliefs are, but it was a little alarming to just realize what passion this person had of a anti-Palestinian nature. It was just a little jarring to me.
All right, and I'm sure there's something on everybody's heart, and we just want to acknowledge that we come with all of this and more, So let's just take a deep breath and let it out. And we always begin with a Thich Nhat Hanh chant. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now, 3 times. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park. We're glad you're here. I have an opportunity to introduce somebody I consider my friend now. Emma Bornstein is a Jewish and interfaith chaplain at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and a former spiritual counselor at Beit Shiva, an addiction treatment center. Prior to her work as a chaplain, she studied and worked in the field of restorative justice. Emma has been a volunteer with If Not Now LA for almost 10 years and a member of Jewish Voice for Peace. She is passionate about matters of the heart, tending to community wellness, and living in deeper relationship with the earth. Her master's thesis was entitled Interwoven in the Divine Fabric of Creation, Jewish and Ecological Wisdom as a Roadmap for Addiction Recovery. She is a movement chaplain, supporting frontline activists and spiritually accompanying those committed to Palestinian liberation and liberation in all forms. Welcome, Emma. And she's going to introduce her friend and our friend.
Oh, yes. Thank you for that introduction. I'm really happy to be here. So before I share some words, I want to introduce my friend Janet, who is here with us. We met through a Jewish-Muslim community fellowship, and she is a dear friend, and I'm really happy that she's here because we've done quite a bit of work together doing multi-faith devotionals and creating spaces of belonging and devotion that can encompass a lot of different faiths, and that's my favorite place. And so I'm so grateful to be here, where faiths come together rather than are separate and isolated. So I'm very happy to have my friend here.
Thank you, Emma, for inviting me here. And these are the places that I feel like home. And thank you all. So today I will start with a song that's from early 19th century. It's from a monotheistic branch of which, it's a monotheistic movement within Hinduism. So in early 19th century, there are a group of Hindus. They were like us. They used to gather together and they pray through songs and music. If any one of you know about Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore, he was also from this society. So for your context, the song I'm going to sing, in this song, the poet speaks about the existence of God everywhere, from the deep sea to the ultimate universe. The poet speaks about the existence of God in the leaves of plants and flowers, rivers and seas, in moon, planets, and skies. The poet closes their eyes and weeps in the darkness in the song, and they say that they want God to guide them and advise as they cannot see and know anything, and urges God to navigate to follow the right path. As we are now going through a very difficult time in every aspect in every terms, and the whole world, it's not only about USA. I feel like I don't have any home. So this song gives me the feeling of home when I think about the nature, that the nature, the plants, all the elements of nature, they don't need any documents. They're free, and I feel so connected with them. So I will start with this song, then Emma will talk. তুমি নির্মল করো মঙ্গল করে মলিন মর্ম মুছায়ে তব পুণ্য কিরণ নিয়ে যাক মোর মোহ কালিমা ঘুচায়ে মলিন মর্ম মুছায়ে আছো অনল অনিলে চিরনভ নীলে আছো সুনীল বধন বিটপিলতায় জলদের গায়ে শশী তারকায় তপনে আমি নয়নে বসন বাঁধিয়া বসে আধারে মরি গো কাঁদিয়া আমি দেখি নাই কিছু বুঝি নাই কিছু দাও হে দেখায় বুঝায় মলিন মর্ম মুছায় তুমি নির্মল করো মঙ্গল করে মলিন মর্ম মুছায় তব পুণ্য কিরণ নিয়ে যাক মোর মোহ কালিমা ঘুচায় মলিন মর্ম মুছায়।
Thank you, Janet. Whenever I hear her sing, I always just want to bask in the silence of the experience. But I know I'm tasked with talking, so I will also do that. So my name is Emma, and I am a chaplain here in Los Angeles. There were a lot of different directions I can go in introducing Tu B'Shvat, and I thought I'd, one, just take you a little bit on a journey with me and a little bit of my story, and interweave some Tu B'Shvat teachings throughout. So I'm curious amongst you all, is this anyone's first Tu B'Shvat? Raise your hand. Yes? Okay. All right. Amazing. Wonderful. Okay. So I actually thought I would start a little bit by sharing about my first Tu B'Shvat experience. And I grew up here in LA. My parents were fairly secular, not that interested in religion, but Jewish. And my grandparents were, they lived a few miles away, but my grandfather was a rabbi, and Judaism to them was very important. They both escaped the Holocaust, and to them, Judaism meant survival. But for me, it didn't feel like a spiritual place. It didn't feel so connective. But I was, enmeshed in that world, and I was curious about Judaism, but it didn't feel like a spiritual calling, even though when I was young, I felt like always a spiritual curiosity for life. So I went to college, and one of the colleges that I went to, first I went to college in Arizona, and then I did an exchange at a small school in Massachusetts. And there was a rabbi there by the name of Ellen Bernstein, and she was a radical, feminist, environmentalist rabbi, which was unbelievably mind-blowing to me. I was like, what are these things? That my grandparents were conservative Jews. It was very different. So I was so intrigued, and she, around this time, in 2014, I believe, she held what was called a Tu B'Shvat Seder, and I was like, okay, I'll go to this thing. I don't know what Tu B'Shvat is. I've only heard of Seders for Passover. Seder is sort of a ritual order of an evening that's for a holiday, and so I came with curiosity, and I showed up, and there's lots of tables filled with fruit and nuts, and she has a blessing for every fruit, and she walked us through what was a Kabbalistic or Jewish mystical experience by by connecting to nature. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what is this Judaism? I never knew this existed. This is so beautiful. And as someone who really found home in nature, I really felt like a taste of Judaism that I couldn't believe. And I ended up following her in some classes that she taught, and she broke down Hebrew words for me, like what the word Yud-He-Vav-He, or the name for God in Hebrew, is actually translated as beingness. And there were all of these ways and insights into a Judaism that felt like, oh, I think I can find a home here. And so in the Tu B'Shvat Seder, she taught us that there's 4 worlds in the Jewish mystical teaching. And the first one is Asya, which is the world of making, the world of action. And there is fruits that represent that. So fruits that are soft on the inside and hard on the outside. Something that you have to crack open to get into, something that takes some action, some effort. And then like pomegranates or nuts, for example. And then there's Yetzirah, which is the world of formation or emotion. Those are the fruits that are soft on the outside and hard on the inside. So we have apricots, peaches, things that have a, what's that thing called? A stone, yes, stone fruits. A pit also, thank you. And then we have the world of Birya, which is the world of creation or thought. And these are the fruits that are soft all around, like fully soft. Figs, berries, things that you don't have to knock open to get to, or you can eat the whole thing. And this is the world of thought. It's the world of experience. And then the last world, or realm, is Atzilut, which is the world of emanation. And this is the pure spiritual realm where there's actually no fruits that correlate to this. This is just the essence of our being. All of us are part of this, but it's sort of the place that in the Kabbalistic thinking that we're working towards is to really get to our true essence, our spiritual form. So I'm just in there listening and learning and really having some profound insights about my connection to Judaism. And some time went on, and I'm starting to connect to nature-based Judaism, and I start also thinking about how challenging it is to think about what's happening in Palestine, and how does what I connect to on a spiritual level with Judaism now fit into what the oppression and land theft, and how does that fit my political worldview. So I end up on a program in Jerusalem that is a Jewish program, but also does solidarity with Palestinians. And I meet a few wonderful, beautiful souls that show me that Judaism can be anti-authoritarian, can be anti-oppressive, can exist in a way that both centers our spiritual path and also the liberation and of all people, including Palestinians, and centering Judaism in that way. So I am thinking, I'm sharing this because I met someone very dear to me when I was in Palestine, who was an activist, a nonviolent resistor, Palestinian man my age, who was deeply committed to nonviolent path and led his community in resistance when settlers and the IDF were trying to steal their land. His name is Auda Hathalin, and he showed me humor, he showed me resilience, and even my dad came and visited me while I was in Jerusalem, and he came to he welcomed my dad, and we came to visit his village, Khair, which means village of mothers, I believe, Khair. And he welcomed my dad. He had us do like this very sweet video together. He just felt like this family. And when he saw me and my dad together, his eyes just lit up. He was clearly a deeply family man. And I'm sharing about these two people, Auda and Rabbi Ellen Bernstein, because they are people who have deeply impacted me, and they're also two people who are now my ancestors. Auda, unfortunately, was murdered 6 months ago by a settler who is completely free. The video and the murder was videotaped by Auda himself, and the settler who murdered him roams free and continues to build on his illegal settlement. And I am sitting here today. Rabbi Ellen Bernstein passed away about a year ago. And these two people I'm carrying very deeply in my heart. I know many of us are sitting with grief in different ways, and there's complex grief when there's systemic violence. I know we're carrying the death and the grief of our brothers and sisters in Minneapolis. And I think for me, when I come back to this teaching of trees, this understanding of what trees can hold for us, I know deep in my heart that humans are very much like trees. My research and getting more into learning about biblical relationship to human and trees it's actually pretty amazing how many times in the Torah it's referenced that humans are like a tree in the field, and humans will flourish like a palm tree, grow tall like cedars in Lebanon, but also the rootedness of our beings are so much like trees. And trees also deeply need one another. They don't exist standalone. They exist in community. They exist with communication under the soil with each other. I'm curious maybe if anyone else has ideas of what a tree means to you, or how does a tree represent us as humans? There's you could just throw out a word or two. Resilient. Communication. Regenerative. Connection. Healing. Contribution. Beautiful. Ooh, detoxification. Yeah, our bodies are constantly detoxifying, and trees have that amazing capacity too.
They change what they can do throughout their life.
Yeah, they grow from seeds. They come from the earth, they return to the earth. They're givers like us. They receive. We live I like this phrase that a rabbi teaches, that we're not just breathing, we're interbreathing. We're constantly, our breath is in relationship with trees. So I appreciate all of the little tree insights. I also realized that I forgot to mention that Tu B'Shvat itself, which is a very important note, especially for those who have never done Tu B'Shvat before, this is usually something I would say in the beginning, but is the holiday of the trees. So now you know why I'm talking about trees. Surprise! So yes, I missed that part. But so Tu B'Shvat, the very rudimentary is the new year of the trees, is what they call it. And it is kind of interesting that they place it in the middle of winter, but they say that because it's the time of year where you start to see the bud and the sap growing on the tree. So even though you're not usually blossoming yet, or in that cycle of the tree. It is kind of the birth moment of the trees, and so we get to celebrate them. We have 4 New Years in Judaism, and the birthday and the New Year of the trees is today, which also falls on the full moon. And Shavat is the name of this month, which also, one translation is branches, and 2 is the 15th. So we're right in the middle of the month of Tu B'Shvat. I brought a few items and fruits and nuts because that's, something that's traditional and important to sort of embrace the taste, the flavor, the experience. I wonder if we want to pass it out and everyone just grab, some of them are small, there's little berries, there's apricots and nuts.
Why don't we do that during community sharing?
Okay, perfect. We'll do that. Thank you. That's what maybe was a little complicated. So before I pass it back to Janat to do another song, I just thought I would do a quick, brief little meditation where we can close our eyes together. Usually Tu B'Shvat is something I would do in the outdoors because it is an outdoor holiday, but I today will have us sort of close our eyes and picture ourselves by a tree. Any tree that you might know from your childhood or one you passed on the way here. Just picture yourself sitting or standing beside this tree. Recognizing that each inhale you take in is oxygen that is aiding and healing your body, that this tree is supporting you with. And every exhale you take or you let out is giving the tree life and the possibility of photosynthesis, the exchange of oxygen, carbon dioxide. Can see if maybe you can even smell what this tree might smell like. What feeling does it give you to know that it's beside you? This tree is a communicator tree. You can ask if it might have a message for you. And as trees communicate, we also want to communicate back and offer our gratitude for the life force exchange that it provides us. And just as Janet had us ask what we're holding. See if there's anything the tree might be able to hold for you in this moment, in your heart. And taking one nice long last inhale and exhale with the tree's support. Can open your eyes again. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We do have a time of community sharing where during the community sharing is a time where you get a chance to speak, to say something for briefly or to ask a question. And during that time, I'll pass around the food as well. And if you're on Zoom, you can raise your hand the Zoom way, and we will get to you as well. So we'll pass around those, and I think that's all I want to say for now. And then after that, we'll have music, or you do have one more song?
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be a song now. Okay, there'll be a song now, and then we'll have community sharing in just a moment.
Thank you, Emma, for sharing such nice stories with us. And since Emma said, I also gathered courage to tell you that I grew up in a very conservative Muslim family, and then the same thing happened. I couldn't connect with the regular, strict disciplinary prayers the way in regular Muslim households we do, but I really felt connected with any ultimate truth or anything, the superpower with song, with music. And this is the song I'm going to sing. This is my regular prayer song, and this song is from 18th century Bengal, and still people are singing in Bangladesh. There are mystic singers. They gather together in circle almost every evening and sing these songs. So these people who usually do these musics, they are called Baul Fakir. Baul means mad, Fakir means who doesn't have anything. So these people are basically in Bangladesh, a group of Vaishnava Hindus and Muslim fakirs. They gathered together, and it's kind of, they exchanged their thoughts, powers, and musics. And from those, these people are still carrying this lineage. And I feel like, though I'm a Muslim, still I feel I'm a part of those mystic singers. So now I'm singing this song, and for a little bit of context, I want to translate a few verses of this song. It's saying, I was left alone in the shore, the sun set on the west. Without you, I'm in great crisis. I see no way. Take me to the shore. Helplessly, I'm waiting here. Oh, merciful, take me to the shore. Don't have prayers and good deeds, always sliding in the wrong path. I have heard the name of the Savior. I have heard the name of the Savior, that's why I ask for your sake. Take me to the shore. If you don't help the helpless, the name of yours will be defamed. Fakir Lalon says, to the Lord of low lives, who will ask you, take me to the shore? Ami অপার হয়ে বসে আছি ওহে দয়াময় পারে লয়ে যাও আমায় আমি একা রইলাম ঘাটে ভানুষে বসি লোপটে আমি তোমা বিনে ঘোর সংকটে না দেখিও পারে লয়ে যাও আমায় অগো তীর না দিলে গতি ওই নামের হবে খ্যাতি আমি তোমা বিনে ঘোর সংকটে না দেখিও পারে লয়ে যাও আমায় আমি অপার হয়ে বসে আছি ওহে দয়াময় পারে লয়ে যাও আমায় পারে চাও আমায়।
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. So thank you so much. So moving. So this is time for community sharing, and I see some hands up already. While we're doing community sharing, I'm going to be passing. First, I'm going to pass around paper towels. If you plan on eating something, you. Oh, thank you. You could help. That's great. We can. I'll only give this to people who have a paper towel. Just in
The
case.
pomegranate is the messiest one.
Yeah, my mom used to have us eat pomegranates outside in our bathing suit so she could squirt us off. Before we start, I do want to mention something real quick, because I don't know, maybe it's already 10 years ago, but we had a Tu B'Shvat Seder here with Steve Perney, and it was a special needs, run by people with special needs, and it was, and after, here's the caveat, we had all these tables here and this great Seder kind of Tish B'Shvat, and Tree Man walks in. Tree Man, I did it. I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself because we had kids here and everything, and then Tree Man walks up the door. Tree Man.
Someone dressed as a tree?
Yeah, he was a Venice guy. Tree Man. You guys, anybody know him? Yeah, Tree Man. He used to walk around Venice, and he had to duck to get in, because he was too tall. Anyway, I just want to say that. We have had Tu B'Shvat here. But it was, I think, might have even been 15 years ago. I don't know when it was. So, I will give this to...
Thank you for your story. It got me sort of thinking. I had a friend who's Jewish named Harel who does a lot of Israeli folk dancing, and he worked at during that time of my friendship with him. He and I worked at a Jewish summer camp out in Simi Valley called Camp Balanim, and I really liked the summer camp and really learning about the Jewish religion in a very personal sort of way, and learning about Shabbat and how Shabbat sort of works, and singing the Jewish songs and making friends there, and it felt like a community to me.
Thank you so much. Your talk reminded me a great deal of my own theological studies master's degree, where I studied a lot about biblical studies and Hebrew scriptures and the prophetic, ethical, political action within Judaism. And I'm particularly struck by your comments on God as beingness, because if I think about the ways in which humanity chooses to live and what we choose to give to this earth, and we are choosing a beingness. And then as I think about what you said about trees and nature and the giving and receiving, the interdependence in that, it's very powerful. So thank you.
Okay. I got to meet Emma one time previously, but only as part of a Zoom call that was just among Janet and Emma and me. We were talking about Sunday morning possibilities. And Emma, you were telling us about this amazing enterprise project, which I'm guessing is still ongoing, involving a number of multi-faith gatherings, and I wonder if you could tell the congregation about that.
Sure. So yeah, Jannat and I know each other from a Jewish-Muslim fellowship that we connected, and some folks in that group, and then expanded out. That was more of a dialogue-based group, and we were seeking more of a devotion space, and with music, with chanting. So it's a little bit of a unofficial sort of gathering that we actually do at my home in Koreatown. We have a really big, huge open space with a fireplace, so it's really cozy for gathering. And I feel like a lot of us are very deeply connected to the devotion and to the space, but we're not super consistent or organized logistically, but I think that's sort of the vision, is to have more regularity with it. And we do community sharing, we do opportunities for people to share, we do sometimes fundraising things, so it's very organic, but it's something that's very meaningful, yeah.
Thank you, Janet. So interesting you're talking about trees. Last weekend, I went on a 4-day retreat with motherless daughters. So women who had, as a young person, had their mother die. And it was up above Monterey in the middle of a redwood kind of forest. And it was so peaceful and healing. But it made me remember that when after my mom died, I used to say, I hate nature. I completely rejected it. I hate trees, I hate plants, I hate animals, anything that represented life and regeneration, because I wasn't feeling it at all. So it wasn't until I was an adult that I could engage with nature and in a supportive, positive way. And took me a long time to make that connection, believe it or not. But at this retreat, every morning, there are 4 days, I would sit out on this patio overlooking the forest and the trees. And it was so quiet and so peaceful. And the smell was so rich and nourishing that it fit with what the work we were doing. So, thank you.
Thank you.
A couple of comments which lead to a question. First and foremost of all, sister, your voice is jaw-dropping. May Allah be pleased. This is a holy day for you in terms of trees, but tomorrow is the 8th, is the eve of the Ides of Shaban, which is also holy. We fast on this day because it's the precursor to Ramadan. May Allah be blessed. May Allah bless us for our efforts. My comment, so this is very much a spiritual day or a spiritual period for both of us, Israelis or Jews, as well as Palestinians or Muslims. And just to see the both of you here speaks to a deep, deep tradition that needs to be respected. My question, also preceded by the comment, Ta-Nehisi Coates made a trip to the West Bank, and he was, I guess you could say, assaulted by members of the IDF And upon his return, he had more or less likened it to that of apartheid. And I'm wondering specifically, because he is a man of color who understood essentially what oppression is. And so I'm wondering specifically, have you more or less addressed or more or less witnessed many of the same types of atrocities that he more or less went through as a black man, even though you're not black, within that arena, which speaks to us wanting to right this ship?
Yeah, thank you for your comment, and the Jewish-Muslim kind of overlap and the sacredness of this time, I think, is really beautiful to point out. Definitely, I witnessed apartheid. I mean, you can call it different names, but the reality is there's different rights for Palestinians in the same land as Israelis. There's different roads, there's different license plates, there's ways that you can't travel as a Palestinian freely the way you can as an Israeli in the West Bank. And so it's very clearly an apartheid, and I did quite a bit of what they call protective presence, or spending time walking with shepherds, Palestinian shepherds, because they're consistently being attacked by both the IDF and Israeli settlers. So it's very visceral and easy to see when you're there. Even just thinking about me as an American, I can go and get citizenship immediately as a Jewish American, live in the West Bank. The Israeli government will pay me, give me money to move there, subsidize my life, and Palestinians can't leave, and they also can't go to their homes at all. So much restriction on movement, on, I was reflecting on our time in the village of Al-Khair, and we were planting olive trees when I was there, which is a really big source of livelihood for Palestinians, and I think the olive tree in many ways represents the tree of that land, but they're consistently uprooted. And I think another part of the apartheid is just how there's no system of justice for Palestinians. If someone is murdered, if their land is destroyed, if it's demolished, they don't have, because they're under Israeli occupation, they don't have a criminal system that will support them in almost any case. So it's very clearly apartheid, and it's important to acknowledge that, I think.
Wasn't that great? Okay, so now there's 4 more people. We have to make it really quick. There's 4 more people, and I was about to close up. You know that.
I know. I'll do it very quick. I just want to say thank you so much for your songs and your singing. I loved hearing about these people that gather every night and sing. I sing all the time, and there's so many different kinds of music, and I do a lot of popular music or rock and roll, but this devotional is so beautiful. Thank you so much. It's all connected.
It's wonderful to see you both here together. I think people don't realize that Muhammad had married a Jewish woman, and she took him to Medina, a Jewish city, where he learned Judaism from her family. Then he went up, like Moses, to the mountain and saw his visions. What I think we need to do is see the similarities between both sides instead of looking at all of our little differences. Jewish men and Muslim men wear coverings on their hat. Both sides eat. The Muslims have halal. The Jews have kosher foods. It's so much similar. And I just love to see that you two are together today. Thank you for coming.
I have a lot of stories to tell, but won't. But I do want to say it's appropriate to lift up the spirits of the trees who are being hacked unnecessarily or at the will and the whim of somebody to whom they're mistakenly inconvenient. Trees need to be appreciated, very much so. And there's no harm in thanking the trees for what they give us.
Bonnie was a tree people person for a very long time.
I'm just motivated to add this Christian passage from Revelation 22, verse 2. In the midst of the streets and on either side of the river was there the tree of life, which bare many manners of fruits and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the trees are for the healing of the nations.
Beautiful. Wow, good. That's a good closing. Thank you so much. Let's give this to show our appreciation. And we will have a time of silence and then a song, and we have a couple more things we do before the end. We have somebody is going to speak about something and pass out bread. We keep on passing out little foods, tiny bits of food. So you can either stay there or you can stay wherever you like.
Announce. We now have a moment of silence, and it will be broken with a song called Oifen Pripitchok. Because I'm going to talk, I think I'll talk now so we can just sing when we break the silence. This is a song that is in Yiddish. Yiddish is a language that's a blend of mostly German and a little bit of Hebrew, and then even some other words from Eastern Europe. This song, Oifen Pripitchok, is about a rabbi who is teaching children the ABCs, the Aleph Bays. Aleph and Bay are the first two letters of the Hebrew alphabet. A Pripitchok is an oven. It is sometimes just for cooking, but sometimes it has an extended part where people can sit or lie down to get warm. So some settings of this song, there are a lot that I found on the internet. Some of the settings of this song have the rabbi inside with a fire in the Pripitchok, teaching the children. Sometimes it's about the past woes of the Hebrew people, but this song is about the children being outside under the trees. Oifen Pripitchok brennt der Feier ill und in Stub is heiß. Und rebellierend kleine Kinder lach dem Aleph Beis. Und rebellierend kleine Kinder lach dem Aleph Beis. Solche Kinder lach, gedenkje Teiere, wo sie lernen du. Such noch amul und Tage noch amul, komm Aleph O. Such noch amul und Tage noch amul, komm Aleph O. In the open field, bearing sapling trees, children's arms are raised. There the rabbi sings to all the boys and girls of the Aleph Bays. There the rabbi sings to all the boys and girls of the Aleph Bays. From the Torah, my child, learn and mark it well, sow and plant the land. Soon the flowers and the blossoms will be here, for the spring's at hand. Soon the flowers and the blossoms will be here, for the spring's at hand.
Good morning. This is now a chance for everybody to share and give back. And I was thinking about trees, and I thought about a tree in a park that was a couple blocks from my house as a little kid. But it's funny, I didn't think until just sitting here and looking around the room how much else they give us. And it's most of this building we're in is wood, and it's renewable. But it does take sometimes more growth to renew it, and it takes the support to keep the church going and keep this place renewed as well. So maybe that's for this morning, a nice metaphor of why we need to keep the contributions coming. At the back, well, Janet has it there. There also is a little more contemporary way that you can share. If you'd rather just use your phone and scan the QR code, the instructions are on there. But anything you can do to keep us going is really appreciated. So thank you very much.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Ay, 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 oh, ay, 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 oh, ay, oh. Ay, 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 oh, ay, oh, ay, 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 oh, ay, oh. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Ay, 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 oh, 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 oh. Ay, 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 oh, 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 oh. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Ay, ay, ay. This fell off.
Today we're lucky because Craig is doing bread.
Oh.
You want this? Here. I got these. I'll pass it over.
As we embark on Black History Month, we have to come to a realization that Black history is, in fact, American history.
Craig, use a mic. Here. Here's a handheld. So they can hear you online. Yeah, we can hear you here, but online.
Thank you. In respect to Black History Month, we have to come to the realization that Black history is American history, and American history does include Black people. It's no less American history if we recognize the idea and the notion that John C. Calhoun and Charles Sumner had a bitter relationship to the point with which Sumner was almost beaten to death. Is it less history than that if indeed that same history or that same event is witnessed by, oh good, now I'm forgetting his name at this point, Rainey, Joseph Rainey. There's a reason why African Americans tend not to vote Republican. Right up there in that reasoning, we have to go back to 1876 and the Tilden-Hayes Compromise and its impact on African American voting rights. The president's election of 1876 between Republican Rutherford B. Hayes and Democrat Samuel L. Tilden was one of the most disputed in American history. Although Tilden won the popular vote, let me get right. Although Tilden was one of the most the presidential election of 1876 between Republican Rutherford B. Hayes and Democrat Samuel Tilden was one of the most disputed in American history. Although Tilden won the popular vote, contested electoral results from several southern states led Congress to establish a special commission to resolve the outcome. The commission ultimately awarded Hayes the presidency, not by a single vote, but through a negotiated process that became known as the Tilden-Hayes Compromise. As part of the compromise, Democrats agreed to accept Hayes as president in exchange for the withdrawal of remaining federal troops from the South. This marked the format and end of Reconstruction. The removal of federal oversight allowed southern states to regain control over local governance, changing the political landscape. Once federal troops were withdrawn in 1877, southern governments dominated by white Democrats quickly moved to reassert authority. Many white Republicans felt abandoned and as a result moved to other places or relocated elsewhere. The absence of federal enforcement paved the way for the restoration of white supremacy and the erosion of civil rights among African Americans. African-American vote, the 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, prohibited states from denying citizens the right to vote based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. During Reconstruction, this vote based on race, color, or potential conditions of servitude, during Reconstruction, that led to increased African Americans' political participation, including the election of black congressmen and senators, such as the 8 associated in South Carolina, which Joseph Rainey was one, and the one senator from Mississippi by the name of Hiram Revels. It is important to note that the earlier 3/5 compromise enacted in 1787 was a pre-Civil War provision that counted enslaved individuals as 3/5 of a person for the purposes of representation and taxation. This compromise affected congressional apportionment, but did not grant voting rights, nor was it directly related to the post-15th Amendment enfranchisement. The withdrawal of federal troops led to a resurgence of white supremacist organizations, most notably the Ku Klux Klan. Originally founded during Reconstruction, the Klan and similar groups intensified efforts to suppress African American political participation through violence, intimidation, and federal protection ended. These tactics were deployed in response to the increased empowerment of black voters and office holders, aiming to restore white dominance in Southern politics. The Tilden-Hayes Compromise directly linked federal policy decisions, specifically the end of Reconstruction and the removal of federal troops, to significant social consequence in the South. The resulting loss of protection for African American citizens facilitated widespread disenfranchisement and entitled systemic intimidation, reversing many of the gains achieved during Reconstruction. This sequence of events illustrates the powerful influence of federal actions on the realities of civil rights and racial inequality in post-Civil War America.
Great. Is Izzy around?
No, she's not doing that today.
Okay.
So we're going to make a circle, and I'll just chant this in. Round and round we go, we hold each other's
closing
hands
circle.
and weave our lives in a circle. The day is done, the dance goes on. Round and round we go, we hold each other's hands and weave our lives in a circle. The day is done, the dance goes on. I'm going to modulate. Round and round we go, we hold each other's hands and weave our lives in a circle. The day is done, the dance goes on.
All right, this is our closing oblong. And this is also called where we share our joys and concerns, or some people will call it our prayer circle.
Okay, so I can walk around with this mic, so I'm just going to give you the movements of the song we're going to sing. It goes like this. In beauty it's begun, in beauty it's begun. It's beautiful to the left of me, it's beautiful to the right of me, it's beautiful below me, it's beautiful above me, it's beautiful before me, beautiful behind me, it's beautiful around me, it's beautiful inside of me. In beauty it's begun. In beauty it's begun. It's beautiful to the left of me. It's beautiful to the right of me. It's beautiful below me. It's beautiful above me. It's beautiful before me. It's beautiful behind me. It's beautiful around me. It's beautiful inside of me. In beauty it's begun. I want to do it one more time. It's beautiful to the left of me. It's beautiful to the right of me. It's beautiful below me. It's beautiful above me. It's beautiful before me. It's beautiful behind me. It's beautiful around me. It's beautiful inside of me. In beauty it's begun. In beauty it's begun. In beauty it's begun. In beauty it's begun.
Okay, we're going to say carry on together. And unmute, you can unmute yourself and chaotically say it with us. We're going to say 1, 2, 3 and raise our hands and say carry on. Because one thing we're going to do this week, carry on. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, carry on.